Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and I thought I'd make a discussion video today to just kind of change things up a little bit with all the news videos I've done lately about life and death. It's been a few days since it was announced, and it feels like we've already learned quite a lot about the pack without even having the gameplay trailer that's supposed to release on the 17th. And I thought I would just take a little bit of time to talk about the one feature that I'm the most excited for so far. Depending on whether you have seen my previous videos or not, you may or may not be surprised at what I'm most excited for. I imagine most people are excited for funerals, but the thing with me is that I play with aging off, and I also don't let my Sims die all that often. I think the last time I did that was just like for my cottage living let's play. For the sake of a backstory, I did have an elder sim die, but yeah, I feel pretty bad about killing off sims, so I don't really like doing that. So it's the life aspect of the expansion pack that is probably going to be the most useful to me in the long run. So what I'm most excited for is the bucket list feature. To recap what the bucket list is, it is a thing that young adult or older Sims get, and it will naturally populate over time based on the Sim's traits, and there are interactions on the computer and journal which allows Sims to write a random goal themselves, write a goal from a category like travel or family, or write a specific goal. On the product page for Life and Death on the EA app, it says young adult Sims and older will have bucket lists that fill up with goals. Some items you may choose and some will appear for you to accept or reject. Possible bucket list items include declaring a crafted masterpiece your life's work, woohooing in an unconventional location while a relationship is at max, spending 24 in-game hours in a specific world, and more. Completing bucket list items in life will unlock interactions, the Burning Soul trait, the ability to be reborn, and more. Also, if your sim decides to stick around as a ghost and the bucket list was not completed before they died, then it actually turns into unfinished business. Sim Guru Connor did confirm that there is going to be pack compatibility with bucket lists, and that Sim Guru Nova wrote a lot of text for it. So it sounds like there's going to be many possibilities, especially if you happen to own all the packs. So this is going to be, I think, something very exciting for players like me who don't really have death as a big part of their gameplay at all. Because kind of like with things we've had in the past, like milestones and lifestyles, then they are things that affect every sim. And since I have so many sims, I'm interested in seeing what kind of bucket lists they'll end up generating on their own. Will they end up being really similar, or could they end up being very different, especially because there's going to be pack compatibility? I think that these bucket lists can end up being an interesting middle ground between something more short-term like wants and something that is more long-term, like with the examples that they gave, such as wooing in an unconventional location while a relationship is maxed out, or spending 24 hours in a specific world. It's like things that aren't done as quickly as, say, listen to the pop music station on the radio, but it's not quite as long term as maybe maxing out a level 10 skill. So looking at it that way, bucket lists could really help you just figure out what to do with your Sims if you're struggling to just come up with something. So then you could look at your Sims bucket list and, oh, okay, maybe something new has popped up, and then that can give you some inspiration for how to continue carrying your Sims story forward. I'm very curious to see what the full list of bucket list goals will be, and hopefully they're moddable too, because with milestones, they did cover some ground in terms of pack integration, but I felt they could have done more of them. But thankfully, there are mods that help cover that too, that add a lot more milestones. So hopefully bucket lists can be added through mods in the future too, because I don't know, hopefully they'll also upkeep this feature with whatever packs we get in the future. But it's interesting to think, like, what other goals could there be? Because for some reason, the first thing I always think of is with Snowy Escape. It just feels like a very bucket listy thing to have something relating to actually not just skiing and snowboarding, but rock climbing too. So perhaps there could be one where it's to get to at least like halfway done the snowboarding and skiing skills, or it could be like, oh, just reach the top of Mount Komorebi. Yeah, that'd be a great bucket list goal. Hopefully that's on there. I could also imagine there being bucket list goals to transform into a specific occult, or maybe even to transform back into a human if they're tired of that occult life. Though I'm not sure which traits would factor into which occults. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is if they also factor in reward traits, not just the standard create a sim ones. So then the night owl reward trait, perhaps that could increase the chances of sims wanting to become vampires, but hopefully just not too spammy. Like, I wouldn't want every night owl sim wanting to be like, oh hey, maybe the vampire life is the one for me. One category I could easily imagine them touching upon is festivals that we've had in previous packs, but not to simply go to the festival, because then that would qualify more as a want. I was thinking something more specific, like going to the Spice Festival and winning the Spice Challenge, or winning the Fitchwick Fair and Cottage Living, or even using the events in Sulani and Island Living, like just cooking for the locals at the local barbecue event. It's funny, I actually just remembered there was some tweet a couple of months or so ago where someone was talking about there being the events in Sulani, and so many people were like, what? What do you mean there's events in Sulani? I had no idea they existed. So then bucket list could also serve as an interesting way of reminding you that certain features are there that you may not remember existed or don't use a whole lot. With the Sulani event specifically, they don't notify you when they're going to happen, except for the turtle hatching one, where you get a notification right as it starts. But otherwise, they don't notify you. I think the idea behind that is that you're supposed to just kind of stumble upon them yourself. But I think at the same time, that is why so many people don't know about them. I'm sure careers will take up a good portion of the bucket list goals. And actually, I forgot that one of the bucket list goals they showed in the trailer was quit that job after the sim saw the Grim Reaper's face. So, okay, yeah, there are some possibilities for ones that are pretty quickly achievable, because, yeah, quitting the job's pretty easy. But then I imagine, depending on the sim's traits, then they would probably want to either just get employed into or get to a certain level of a career that makes sense with the traits that they have. But I was also thinking about get famous. Like, if your sims have the self-absorbed trait from that pack, then they probably would get a want to go into the acting career or to become a celebrity. I'm not sure if it would be level 5 specifically, or maybe a lower level like 3. And maybe also one to win a Starlight accolade. Oh wait, maybe a really good one could be if you have Discovery University to go back to school. So maybe your sim has already gone to university before, but then they don't like the path that they've gone down, so they want to go back to university and learn some more skills and then take a different path. I think that could be an interesting bucket list goal. And one last one that I just thought of is maybe with Get to Work, you could have a bucket list goal to go to the planet Sixum, where the aliens come from. And also, it's Maxis spelled backwards. So I could imagine that being just like, oh yeah, that could be a bucket list thing, one of the more outlandish ones that could pop up. So I think there's a lot of potential with this bucket list feature, and I'm really looking forward to exploring that. And after all this talk of bucket lists, now I want to rewatch the actual bucket list film starring Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. I remember I saw it in school a long time ago and really liking it, but yeah, I haven't watched it again since then. But that's pretty much all I have to say for now, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you looking forward to having bucket lists? And is it also your most anticipated feature of Life and Death? And what sort of things would you like to see on your Sims bucket list? And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.